Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the tradingsyndicate.org. I'm JJ, and this is your Globex session for Thursday the 18th. Hey, Raj, Jerry, Rasto, how you guys doing? Hey, Mike, and good morning for all the folks joining us on YouTube. I'm good, I'm good. We still can't get any selling in this market, but I'm okay. Hey, Lodigan, how are you? Yeah, so had a big range day yesterday. We went down and we found where the bids were, right? So we're past the Fed, we're past contract rollover. We've got options expiration, I guess, coming up on Friday, or is it Thursday? I can't remember. And yeah, and then it's already the 18th, so week after will be month end, not next week, but the week after. So let's go take a look. Overnight inventory is long. Trading is above yesterday's close. Yesterday we accomplished a couple of things. We we found the bid, right? We found the bid under duress is down there at 61.16, 66.06. Sorry, 66.16, 66.06. We didn't spend a lot of time under 66.26 at all yesterday. It was a quick move down, found the bid, did two things. On that move down when we filled these two sets of single prints and we flushed out any weak hands in that move and popped it back up. Doing so did two things. It flushed out a lot of these weak longs, number one. Number two, it's got some people short here between the previous day low and 46. And then I'd say the next short position is the overnight low to 46. There's a bunch of short positions now that have been created by this move because the smart money shorts cover here. The dumb money shorts initiate and then add, and then, as you can see, we're much higher. All right. So I don't interpret Fed data. I don't, all I know is they cut rates. Doesn't really matter to me. It's just what really concerns me is how we are going to get some good information off this and trade intelligently. So at the time being, we still have a market where, I mean, check this out. This is the cool thing about market profile, right? If you use market profile in a practical manner, I want you to look at this. Well, let's see if you guys can figure out what I'm doing. What's up, Black Swan? You know, when I see Black Swan, I think of Have you ever seen that TV show about the football players in Miami with who's that guy, The Rock? Dwayne, what's his name? There's this offensive lineman who calls himself the Black Swan. I always think about that when I see the name. What's the TV show called? It's called Ballers. That's what it's called. Yeah, exactly. Black Swan. Yeah. Ugh. So take a look at that, and you can see the blue stuff right in the circle. That's the inventory that's being distributed. It's above the last 3 days of inventory, the blue stuff, right? So it's kind of interesting. You can really quickly see the agenda of a market. You know, you can really quickly see the agenda of a market because you could see that we were in distribution over 66.66, dipped down to 66.10, ripped it all the way back up, and we're in distribution again. So in an uptrending market, when you put a product on sale, you could see there's still demand for it, right? You guys can all see this, I hope. And if you can't, rewatch the video, right? And think about it in practical terms, right? We want you to always think about these markets in a practical manner so you can actually trade off of them, right? So that's what we're looking at tonight. We're overnight inventory is long. We've already had a bit of a correction. Yeah, it's got to make sense, right, Mother Truck? If it doesn't make sense, how can you do business, right? How can you do business if it doesn't make sense, right? How can you do business based on random stuff, right? And game theory and all of that stuff. How are you supposed to do business off of game theory, right? This doesn't make sense to me, right? When it's just a market, right? Right. So yeah, we still have demand for this stuff, right? Let's go take a look and see what happened. Like none of the, Apple's still 239, Micro Squish 510. It's struggling a little bit at that 511 area. Let's see what happens. Right? The Muscosaurus here at 428. Nothing's really moved. Meta, this thing trades like a penny stock. It's so tight. Google, the Amazon rainforest 232. Nothing is moving lower. Right? One thing I'm going to tell you guys, more important than stock concentration is stock location. Next time you're looking at a stock or a market, that has a group of stocks or anything, look at the location of where that stock is parked. That'll tell you a lot about how the market's going to trade. What's up, Ron? Right. Okay, so I took one trade early, and the trade I took was actually a pure market profile trade. I was making coffee, and I saw this poor high. So I shorted 92 and 3/4. My stop was the overnight high, right? I got on it immediately. As soon as I saw that poor high, I hit it. So I sold 92 and 3/4, 3 micros, and then when the market came down to 66.90 and 89 and 3/4, I covered those three. I covered too early because it dropped a lot more than I was thinking, but I was making coffee and I didn't want to screw up the trade. So that's really the trade that I took. I took a short, stop, first target. So that's good liquidation. We liquidated right back down to the cost basis, right, after a distribution. Right now we've cleaned it up a little bit. Now we've taken that cheap product and we're going and selling it here at 85. And you can see the rotations on our handy dandy 1 minute chart. And our, sorry, should put the levels in. There we go. So I put the levels in every morning in our chart book in our room. Hey Juan, how are you? So I suspect this is a look below and fail of 83 and a quarter. And I think we are going to come up to this area here. And they're going to start selling into it right here. Let's see. It's yeah, see, and then you couldn't be late, right? You had to take the kids to school. That's the problem sometimes in these overnight markets. You wait all the, like you're waiting and waiting and waiting for the trade, and then the trade comes and you got to go do something and you miss the trade. I don't have kids, so it's usually when I get distracted. Right, I'll get distracted for a few minutes. I'll be looking at a web page or something, and I'm like, God damn, I missed the trade. I don't know if that happens to you guys. Happens to me all the time. Hey, Phil, how are you doing? Okay. Yeah, and the thing is, you just sometimes you just, you know, after a while you're like, okay, I missed it. You just get used to missing trades. After a while, it just kind of rolls off of you. Low volume around the all-time high, exactly, Black Swan, means nobody really wants to play. We're basically marking up asset prices as much as we can. So next week is the last full trading week of the month. I can't believe September, we've snapped our fingers and September's gone already. These months are going by way too quickly for my liking. And then we have the end of the quarter, right? So generally, these markets like to move inventory higher at the end of the quarter and mark them up, right? Remember, the next 3 months going into the end of the year, the last quarter, that's when people get serious because bonus time is January, right? Looking for 66.88 and three quarter. There it is, 88 and three quarter. I think we'll get up to about 90, that 90, 91 area and distribute there. If we have really strong buying, we'll go take out the overnight high. Just be aware of something. Like, something I noticed yesterday and tonight. The liquidation yesterday caused the market to go higher tonight. And we're kind of seeing the same thing on a smaller time frame, aren't we? Smaller range. I mean, look at it. This is the same thing. Liquidation, market's higher, right? Smaller time frame, liquidation. Watch out for that poor high now, right? Watch out for that poor high. Because we're not supposed to slice through these sellers so quickly, right? If enough people shorted the hell out of it, they're going to walk it right back up. There's 89 and a quarter. What did I say, 90? Let's see if we can get to 90. It's not a small overnight range at all, right? You're right, Phil. Well, I've got to admit, I was looking for lower prices in the overnight. I thought, okay, right? Then I woke up, turned on the computer, looked at this, and went, oh, crap. What did I forget? I forgot the dumb money shorts. Right? How many people shorted the market yesterday going into that Fed press conference? Right? What did we get up to? I was close, off by 2 ticks. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Blues Queen, how you doing? It's amazing how these back and forth motions, these back and forth moves, just really. And we've seen it. We saw it in COVID. We saw it when, um, the president did he do his Terminator 2 Judgment Day thing back in April, right? And he just destroyed the market, popped up higher, new highs. Every time you liquidate this market, it just jams right back to all-time highs. And I think, a lot of people don't take notice to that. They always try and over-explain things, but those are just simple mechanics, right? Just simple mechanics. The thing is, you know what the funny thing is, Phil? The reason why these markets behave the way they do is because people really have short memories. They really have short memories. It's weird, but they really, really, especially traders, because they're so in the moment, it's very easy to get lost in the moment and forget what's going on. Now we're just kind of parked at yesterday's high. Oh. Good stuff, Phil. Yeah. Tomorrow's OPEX. Thank you, sir. Let's see what's next. Sorry, I didn't call out the short at 88 and three quarters. I missed that. Gotta get on the ball, JJ. I need more coffee. Let's see if we just do a nice rotation here, right? We did a rotation up. Let's see if we can rotate down, and then this. I wouldn't mind trading this all night. The back and forth. That would be cool. I could go for that. Hmm. Hmm. This is horrible. Come on, move. Timing that's a good thing, Rosemark. I don't look at a specific time. Now, it depends on the order flow, right? See, this one actually happened quick. It happened in 1 minute, 2 minute, boom, there's the fail, right? Sometimes it'll go up like this, and you're looking for a look above and fail of 91 and a half, right? And it'll do this annoying thing like this, and then it'll fail, right? They're both valid. Like this one took 2 minutes, and this one might take 10 minutes. They're both valid, but that's what's like, every trade has a good part and a bad part. The bad part is trying to figure out whether it's going to be a quick one or whether you're going to have to wait, right? So here, when I took this short, I saw a seller. Like I drew this and I went, oh, there's sellers here. But I didn't short until here. I could have shorted here and had to wait, right? But what saved me was this half-hour bar when it opened and it left a poor high. So it kind of helped me with my timing. That's when I got into the trade, so I didn't have to wait all of this time for the short. So generally what I find is after you get a move up and a move down, and then it'll go like this. It'll get like tight and choppy after the move, if that helps, right? They both look below and fails. Just one happens a lot faster because of the agenda of the order flow at that time. I don't know. Does that make sense? The more you watch, the more it'll start making sense. Yeah, you're right, Dave. Very true. No, I prefer it when it happens fast. I hate being stuck in a short for a long period of time. And Phil is right. The more bearish the news is, the higher the markets go. And I don't even use the word bearish. But the more negative the news flow is, I've I've noticed lately. Yeah, what you got to do is you got to like for right now, it's It did the look above and fail, and now it's right back to 88 and three quarter. So what I'm looking for now is, can it take out that candle where the seller initiated before? Because if it takes out that candle, we're going to go up to 91 and a half. See you, Jerry. Have a good one. Enjoy your meetings. You'll start to get a feel for it. And how you get a feel for markets is watching them without trading them and then trading them. And people never believe me, but if you sit and watch a market from a perspective of curiosity instead of a perspective of where's the trade and I need to make my money, you'll be blown away by how many small, subtle things you will notice. It'll actually freak you out. Watch now. Do you see how the market's lifting above that white line? Let's see if we can get a print. See, it printed and came back down. Next area where there's going to be sellers is going to be right here. There you go. Oh, thank you, Blues Queen. You made my day. Sat and watched for 18 months, and now you're profitable nearly every day. You know, I got one of my guys, my best mentoring student. He's almost cracked 900 grand this year, going into the last quarter. He averages about $4,000 to $5,000 a day. Does exactly what I tell him to do, and he spends 90% of his time watching. He's, believe it or not, only had 2 negative days in the last 3 months. And Blues Queen, I'm really happy to hear that you're profitable every day. That's beautiful. Right? And you know when to stop trading. You make your money and off you go, right? That's another trick, to make your money and then run. Right? That's a beautiful thing because that gives you uh he lost on Tuesday of this week and about 2 months ago. But he'll do $1 million this year. He trades 6 o'clock Eastern to 8 o'clock. He trades size, right? I mean, he's got a large account, but he has taken what I teach just using the 1 minute chart, and he scales it up with size, so it works, right? Now that's retail. We have people who run um, partnerships who do the look below and fail on significantly larger time frames, and they do quite well. Like, 8, 9 figures. So um, it does work. It's just the business. See how we're creeping up higher now? There's that 90 I was talking about. Let's see if we can move the point of control from 82 half up to 90. Yeah, just listening, because when you start work at a brokerage firm, you're not allowed to trade. You basically just sit in a corner and watch. You're not really allowed to touch anything because you, right? It's not like they just give you a bunch of money and say go for it. That's really not how it works. You got to sit and watch, and Listen, if you can't get the lunch order right, they're not going to let you trade. You know, there's a certain humility that comes from working in brokerage firms. Where you spend a lot of time going, I don't know what's going on. You know, and that's okay to not understand what the heck's going on. You know, if you knew what was going on, you'd be head trader at Goldman Sachs, but you're not. So just relax and learn, right? Everybody has to learn. I have to learn, you have to learn. I learn something new every day, right? Just take it all in and remember this business is a marathon business. It's not a sprint. No matter what the YouTube commercials say, it's not a sprint. Exactly. And it probably really helps you for making bad trades, right? Blues Queen, like you've really started to figure out when to trade and when not to trade, right? And that's a beautiful thing. We are up from yesterday's puck. Good distribution, right? That's a good thing. The wholesalers are having a good night. Let's see what happens when we get to the top of this zone. Open has lost its steam. I don't think it's. What is that stuff that. What do you guys make a big deal out of here? Yorkshire tea. It didn't have its Yorkshire tea. It had tea from some other place other than Yorkshire, so it's lost its steam. Ah, Rosemark, here's a little hint with that. Don't worry about the candles. I think I'm going to get into a lot of trouble for saying this, but I think a lot of time has been wasted teaching traders about candles and wicks and color of candles and upside down banana patterns and what did somebody say yesterday? They said something like really morose, like three dead soldiers or something. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? Don't figure the patterns. Look for the seller, Rosemark. Change your focus. Watch the offer. Don't worry about the candle. All you got to worry about is the top of the candle. I don't want to say it that rudely because I know a lot of time and effort is spent on this technical analysis stuff, and I don't want to discount it, but there are more important things that are much more simpler that can help you make money. Like, say you're long right now. Say I was long 89, right? I know there's going to be sellers here. As we creep up to 93 and a quarter, 93 and a half, I know that if I own inventory here, right? Say I went long a little bit here on this little look below and fail. I know that there's going to be some sellers here, so maybe I'm going to sell, right? Yeah, I don't know. It was like pretty morose when the guy said it in the room, and I was like, I didn't know what he was saying, so I just kind of pretended he didn't say it. But if you can just see, I don't know what it was. I don't know. It was some sort of weird remark about three soldiers and a candle pattern, and I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, and frankly, I didn't really care because it doesn't really help make you money, right? Memorizing all these patterns is just a waste of time. Watch and see where the sellers are interacting. If you're long, say you're long at $5 and you know that there's going to be selling at 6, get out at 5.95. Does that make sense? It's okay, Dave. You make perfect sense. See, which is completely useless information. 3 bars of the same color and roughly the same size. Totally useless information. What's useful information is I know there's going to be a seller here, right? Top of the candles. That's where the sellers initiate. How do I know that's where the sellers are going to be? Because I used to be the top of the candle, right? So I know because I used to be a seller, right? So you think like a seller. That's why I say if you were long 89.90 up here at 92, you're going to want to sell some inventory because look, it's coming back down. Does that make sense? This way you can throw away all the upside down, hanging giraffe, all of that crap, right? And you can unpark a lot of that information from your mind, which is causing you to overanalyze everything and not actually be profitable. We get what you're saying, Dave. Yeah. So at the top, right? So right here, my friend, say you were short 91, your stop would be 92 and a quarter. Do you know the twisted one-eyed pirate hook pattern? So what happens is if the market takes out that short, it's going to trigger buy orders, right? And you have to decide how strong those buy orders are. Look above and fail of 91 if you're short. You're looking for bids at 89 and a half, 90, right? It's getting a little tight. Now we're going to go distribute. I think we're just going to stick around this area and we're going to try and move that point of control up and get rid of another couple of thousand contracts up here. Keep it practical. You enjoy to lure them with the candy and then shank them? Exactly. Right? That's what you're doing, Like, that's what we were taught on the desk, right? We were whipping and driving them and hurting them and coaxing them into the kill zone, right? Into the kill box. That's what we're doing, right? But that's basically how the markets work and how order flow works. We take markets up, you guys follow, and we sell to you. Then you guys get tired of holding it, we buy it back at a cheaper price, right? Then we take it back up again, and you guys want to buy it back again, right? That is the cycle of inventory, just like the Lion King, right? All we're doing is we're just taking the same inventory and buying and selling it and buying and selling it. These are speculative markets, right? Nobody's buying futures for a 30-year hold. It's not an investment. It's all speculation and hedging. Pay attention. See? See, there's sellers, right? Top of the candle, top of the candle. They're selling into it there. Now watch. I'm going to make this big. Zoom in on this. Watch the offer. Watch the red line here. Whether it can offer over this white line and print, or does it have to come down here? Right? You can learn a lot in chop. Watch the offer when we come to 92 quarter. Here we go. Offered and printed quarter. Let's see, can we offer half? Watch. See how it's stopped? This is like that standoff in the OK Corral. The two cowboys. Just joking. Right? See, there's a seller at 92 quarter. Right? And they're competing. They have been now for 10 minutes. So you can anticipate where the sellers are going to be. Yeah. Futures are not subject to dilution. You don't have some clown like me selling zero cost stock into a futures market, right? There's nobody who owns the futures at zero that's selling into it, right? Which is what happens, especially in penny stocks. You guys are buying a stock at $1, $2. I own it for nothing. They give me 1,000,000 shares for free just for working on a deal. So I'm selling it. I don't care if it's $1 or 50 cents or 10 cents. There's the print. Look, lift, print. Right? Who cares about the candle color, the wick, the twick, the wick patterns, right? Upside down, lemons, whatever the hell it is. All you care about is the print. It printed 92 half, and then the offer came back down to 92 quarter. There's a seller because they're selling into it before the overnight high. Why? Because where's AO? Right? Remember he was talking about the point of control. The cost basis of the overnight session is between 80 and 85. So if you were long, right? If you were long 1,000 contracts between 81 and 85, you'd be out of your mind to not be selling into this. Because you want to turn that inventory into cash. There's that competition at 92 quarter again. See if we can go 92 and 3/4 and print. Remember, price is taken higher to lure you in. Now we have a seller. What needs to happen for us to take a trade? I'd like a look below and fail. Here, I should have called this out. This was our trade. We should have been long here, stop here, and then selling into it here. But I was explaining something else and I got distracted. Now we have another poor high. We have a triple top. If we take the stops at, where is it, 93 half, sellers are going to sell into that. That's why you have false breakouts, Ben. Exactly. That's why I don't buy breakouts. right? I like this trade. Look below, fail, rotation back up, right? Look above, fail, rotation down. Look below, fail, rotation up. Those are my kind of trades. A lot of this stuff I just leave alone because right here this is a all-time high. It's at night. The order flow is unpredictable, right? So I'll just leave this alone. Size sellers always sell into buy stops. Very good point. Someone's been listening. That's good. Reversal after a false breakout is competition selling. Bingo. Which is the basis of the look above and fail. Because we are taught to sell size into a breakout because that breakout is creating buying. So we're like, oh, great, suckers, shank them. Now, because we're at all-time highs, right, I can't call it whether it's going to go up or down here. I'll just let the market tell me. It's a lot less stressful, right? Though those stops, I told you if it took those stops, you'd get those buy orders. Look at that. So now, if we have a lot of people who are trapped short, right, the market will not be able to come back under 94 because there'll be bids here, 93 half to 94, right? There you go. Nice work, Phil. Nice work. Sell into that strength. Looking for 97. Let's see if we can go tickle it. See how well the zones are working. Now we're going to backfill. Right? We're going to come down to that 94 area and see if that holds. If this gets ugly, when the next half-hour period opens in 10 minutes, we will have single prints, which will be a real pain in the butt for everybody because it'll be another short position. Remember, the only reason why they will put it on sale or the market goes on sale is if you run out of buyers, right? And then sellers get really competitive, then they'll hammer it, especially if they see competition. Because it's all-time highs, I have no idea what to expect, right? I'm not a psychic, right? This isn't the psychic hotline. So I'm just going to let the chart tell me, right? The fact that I already took one trade in Globex is amazing. So basically, if I don't trade in the next 10 minutes, there we go. Watch for bids. Now, if there's no bids at 93, that means the sellers are starting to compete. Look at that. Watch 94. See, there's a seller at 93 and 3/4, right? So if you were shorting this, right, and you go and you try and hit that offer at 93, hit the bid at 92 and 3/4, you're gonna put your stop right here, right? And you'll use these levels here to put some covering bids in and see if you can cover, right? So I'm short 92 and 3/4. I've got a bid at 91 and 3/4. I covered one at 91 and 3/4, right? I've got one more to cover, and I'm going to go 91 half. I'm not getting it at a half, so I'll take it back at a quarter, right? And I always cover too early. So if this keeps up, if we stay under 91 and a quarter, we're going to come down to 88 and 3/4, which is just right here. Right? Now, I didn't try and short it up here. I waited until it showed me that the seller was present, right? When we came back and I said, if there's no bids there, it's because the buyers there see sellers and they're going to drop their bids. So let's sell alongside. That's why I took that trade. Does that make sense? Because I saw it wasn't bid. I was expecting 94 to hold. As soon as it came under 94, I was like, aha, there's no bid at 94, which means the short sellers have seen a seller. Sounds weird. The short sellers are buyers. They see a seller. They see those wholesale traders competing and lowering price. Boom, they stop dropping their bids, which is your clue. Hope that makes sense. Looking for 88 half if you're still short. 88 half, 88 3/4, 89. This area here is where you'd be looking for a cover. And if you're lucky, you can get 88 3/4. The next place you're going to find bids are 66.86 and a half. Globex is a little better today. If we could just keep getting some liquidation every once in a while, it would help keep this market, keep the price action going nicely in this market, you know? Anybody have any questions? Now let's see if we could move that POC up to the 90s. Good distribution. Good distribution above the previous day high. Good distribution at 82 all night. And the levels are working nicely on the new chart. Just so you guys know, remember the levels that I did up last week for you guys? So 66.96 was one of my levels and turned out to be the overnight high so far. There's 88 and 3/4. Nice. Next place you're looking for bids on the way down is here. 86 half. These are what I'm talking about, these levels here, for folks who are on YouTube. Yeah, so if we get back inside yesterday's range, look for down here in the 82 area. Not bad trading. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Hopefully that continues now. Get the speculators back in there moving product. Well, that's it for me tonight, folks, or this morning. Thanks for being with us. Come drop by our trading room at thetradingsyndicate.org. It's just tradingsyndicate.org. I'm JJ, vwaptrader1, and I've got some spots open for one-on-one coaching. If you guys are interested, DM me anytime. Happy to chat with you about your trading needs and see what we can do to help you do some proper business and make some money. Thanks, everyone. Trade safe. We'll see you at 9 a.m. on our next session. Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys. Bye for now.